You tell yourself the past is over. The people who hurt you are gone. The environment that forced you to stay alert no longer exists. Your life looks different now, maybe even peaceful on the surface, and yet your body still reacts as if danger could return at any moment. Your chest tightens when someone's tone changes slightly. You cannot fully relax before difficult conversations. Your heart races over situations that logically should not feel threatening anymore. Sometimes, anxiety appears without warning, without reason, without anything visibly wrong happening around you. And that is the part nobody talks about enough. The mind can move on long before the body does. Because your nervous system does not operate through logic alone. It operates through memory, pattern recognition, and survival. Your body learns certain lessons during periods of fear, unpredictability, or emotional pain, and it continues applying those lessons automatically even after your circumstances have changed. So, while part of you understands that you survived, another part is still bracing for impact, still scanning for danger, still preparing for something to go wrong. And the exhaustion you carry often comes from living in a body that still believes the danger never fully ended. One of the clearest signs that your body is still living in the past is that you are constantly waiting for something to go wrong, even when everything around you seems completely fine. The relationship feels stable. The conversation was normal. Nothing bad has happened. And yet your body refuses to fully relax. Instead of feeling calm, you feel tension. Instead of relief, you feel anticipation. A quiet part of you keeps searching for the hidden problem that has not appeared yet. You replay conversations in your head looking for signs you may have missed. You monitor people's moods for subtle shifts in energy. You struggle to trust peaceful moments because somewhere deep inside, peace still feels temporary. This is what anticipatory anxiety often looks like. Not dramatic panic all the time, but a constant emotional bracing against something that may never even happen. When you grow up in environments where emotional safety is unpredictable, the nervous system adapts by staying alert. Calm no longer feels safe, because in the past, calm was often followed by conflict, criticism, withdrawal, or emotional chaos. Your body learned that letting your guard down could leave you vulnerable and unprepared. So it developed the habit of constantly watching, listening, anticipating, and preparing. The difficult part is that the nervous system does not automatically update itself just because your circumstances changed. Even now, years later, your body may still be running the same survival program it learned long ago. This is why you may feel anxious during moments that should logically feel safe. Your nervous system is not reacting to the present moment alone, it is reacting to old emotional patterns stored deep inside the body. Part of you still believes danger can appear without warning, so your body stays ready at all times. Ready for disappointment, ready for rejection, ready for emotional pain. And after living this way for so long, you begin to understand why rest feels so difficult, even when life finally becomes quiet. Another sign that your body is still living in the past is that certain tones of voice, facial expressions, or subtle shifts in energy trigger an immediate physical reaction inside you before your mind even understands what is happening. Someone's voice becomes slightly sharper, and suddenly your chest tightens. A small change in someone's expression makes your stomach drop. The atmosphere in a room shifts for only a second, yet your entire body becomes alert while everyone else seems completely unaffected. What makes this experience so confusing is that the reaction often feels stronger than the actual situation itself. Part of your mind may know logically that nothing dangerous is happening, but your body reacts as if a threat has already arrived. This happens because trauma is not stored only in conscious memory. It is stored in the nervous system, in muscle tension, in automatic survival responses, and in emotional pattern recognition that developed long before rational thought had the chance to intervene. Your body learned certain emotional cues in environments where paying attention meant survival. A specific tone may unconsciously remind your nervous system of moments when conflict was about to begin. A certain expression may resemble disappointment, anger, criticism, or emotional withdrawal you once learned to fear. And because the nervous system prioritizes protection over logic, it reacts instantly, before you can think, before you can explain it, before you can reassure yourself that this moment is different from the past. Your heart races. Your breathing changes. Your muscles tense automatically, not because you are weak or overly sensitive, but because your body has been trained to detect emotional danger quickly. And after years of living this way, your nervous system becomes exhausted from constantly preparing for emotional impact, even in moments that are objectively safe. Another sign that your body is still living in the past is that during moments of stress or emotional overwhelm, you begin to emotionally leave your body. Not physically, but internally, something shifts. You suddenly feel distant from yourself, from the room, from the people around you. It can feel like you are watching your own life from slightly outside your body instead of fully experiencing it. Sounds become quieter, emotions feel numb or muted. Time moves strangely, almost slower than normal. Sometimes it feels like your mind disappears somewhere far away while your body continues functioning automatically. This experience is called dissociation, and despite how confusing or frightening it can feel, it is actually one of the nervous system's oldest survival responses. When a child experiences emotional overwhelm they cannot escape, the nervous system learns how to create distance from the experience in order to survive it. If fighting is impossible and leaving is impossible, the body finds another form of protection: emotional shutdown. It disconnects from sensations. It lowers emotional intensity. It separates awareness from the present moment so the experience feels less unbearable. And while this response may have protected you in the past, the nervous system does not automatically stop using it simply because life changed. So now, as an adult, when stress reaches a certain emotional threshold, your body quietly returns to the same protective strategy it learned years ago. You disconnect. You go numb. You emotionally disappear from the moment. And after years of surviving this way, your nervous system begins treating emotional distance as safety, even in situations where you no longer need to disappear in order to survive. Before going any further, something important needs to be understood. Nothing your body is doing is random, and none of it means you are broken. Every anxious reaction, every moment of numbness, every physical symptom, and every fear that appears in situations that logically seem safe today once had a purpose. Your nervous system learned these responses in environments where survival depended on staying alert, adapting quickly, or emotionally disconnecting when things became too overwhelming. Your body was not trying to hurt you. It was trying to protect you in the only ways it knew how. And because these patterns became deeply wired over time, they continue automatically long after the original danger has passed. This is why healing cannot come through shame or constantly criticizing yourself for reacting the way you do. Your nervous system does not need more judgment. It needs understanding. It needs safety. And sometimes healing begins with something very simple: finally learning to look at yourself with compassion instead of confusion. Another sign that your body is still living in the past is that emotional stress begins showing up physically inside you. Your stomach tightens before difficult conversations. Your shoulders stay tense almost all the time without you even noticing anymore. You develop headaches during periods of conflict, exhaustion after emotionally demanding interactions, or a heavy fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to completely fix. Sometimes your body feels physically sick even when there is no obvious medical explanation. What makes this experience so confusing is that many people still treat emotions and physical symptoms as completely separate things, when in reality they are deeply connected parts of the same system. The body does not simply carry emotions, metaphorically. It carries them physically. Every moment of chronic stress, every fear you never fully processed, every emotion your nervous system learned to suppress leaves traces inside the body itself. Anxiety changes breathing patterns. Emotional tension settles into muscles. Fear affects digestion, sleep, energy levels, and the immune system. Your body becomes the place where emotional experiences continue living long after the mind tries to move on. This is why certain people or environments can make your body instantly feel like heavy, exhausted, or unsafe before your mind fully understands why. The jaw tightens, the chest becomes heavy, the stomach drops. The body reacts because it remembers what similar emotional situations once cost you. And over time, carrying stress this way becomes deeply exhausting because your body is constantly expressing emotions that were never fully spoken, processed, or safely released. The physical symptoms are not weakness. They are your body's way of communicating emotional pain it has been carrying silently for years. Another sign that your body is still living in the past is that you struggle to fully receive love, safety, or kindness without quietly waiting for it to disappear. Someone cares about you consistently. They show up for you. They treat you gently, without hidden conditions attached to it. And part of you truly wants to trust it. Part of you wants to finally relax into the comfort of being loved without fear. But underneath that desire, another part of your nervous system remains tense and watchful. You keep waiting for the moment something changes. The moment they become distant. The moment the kindness fades. The moment the safety disappears and the pain begins again. Even when nothing is wrong, your body continues preparing for the ending before the relationship has even had the chance to fully feel safe. This happens because the nervous system learns about love through experience, not logic. If affection was inconsistent growing up, if closeness was followed by rejection, criticism, abandonment, or emotional withdrawal, then your body quietly learned that love could never be fully trusted. It learned that safety was temporary and connection could disappear without warning. So now, even in healthy relationships, your body still braces itself emotionally. Calm love feels unfamiliar. Stability feels fragile. Kindness feels temporary. You may overanalyze small changes in tone or behavior, searching for signs that something is about to go wrong. You may crave reassurance while struggling to fully believe it when it is given. And after living this way for so long, your nervous system begins treating love not only as comfort, but also as something that could hurt you at any moment. When you begin looking closely at these patterns, something important becomes clear. Your body is not trying to sabotage you. It is trying to protect you. Every anxious reaction, every moment of emotional distance, every physical symptom, and every fear that appears in situations that logically seem safe today once had a purpose. These are not character flaws. They are survival responses your nervous system learned during periods when staying alert was necessary. Your body adapted to experiences it was never meant to carry for so long, and it has continued applying those same lessons automatically ever since. The problem is not that your nervous system learned these responses. The problem is that it has not yet fully realized the danger is over. So even now, your body continues preparing for situations that no longer exist. It braces before pain arrives. It scans for threats before trust forms. It protects you from emotional overwhelm long after the original environment disappeared. And when you understand this, something inside you begins to soften. Because healing stops becoming a fight against yourself and starts becoming a process of gently teaching your nervous system that safety is finally possible. Sometimes the beginning of healing is not changing who you are, but finally learning to look at yourself with compassion instead of shame. Healing does not happen simply because your mind understands that the past is over. The nervous system learns differently. It cannot heal through logic alone, and it cannot be forced into safety through willpower or self-criticism. Your body learns through experience, through repeated moments where nothing bad happens after you relax, through conversations where vulnerability is met with care instead of punishment, through relationships where love remains steady even when you stop performing strength all the time, through quiet moments where peace is allowed to exist without immediately preparing for chaos afterward. This is why healing often feels slow and invisible at first. You are not just changing thoughts. Three, 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 three. You are teaching a nervous system that has spent years surviving that it no longer has to live in constant protection mode. And that kind of learning takes patience, gentleness, and consistency. Little by little, your body begins collecting new evidence. Calm does not always lead to danger. Rest is not weakness. Love does not always disappear. Safety can exist without conditions attached to it. At first, unfamiliar peace may even feel uncomfortable because your body was trained to trust chaos more than calm. But over time, with enough repeated moments of safety, something inside you slowly begins to soften. Your breathing changes, your body unclenches, your mind stops scanning every silence for danger. And eventually, healing becomes less about surviving and more about finally feeling safe enough to fully live your life again. The past is over, but your body may still need time to believe that. And that does not mean you are failing. It simply means your nervous system spent years learning survival, and now it must slowly learn something new. That peace is real, that safety can last, and that you no longer have to brace yourself every moment of the day. Healing rarely happens all at once. It happens quietly, through small moments repeated over time. A deep breath you finally allow yourself to take. A moment of calm you stop trying to escape. A relationship where kindness remains steady. A moment where you let yourself rest without guilt. These moments may seem small, but they are how the body slowly learns that the danger has passed. And the moment you begin naming these patterns instead of judging yourself for them, something begins to soften inside you. Awareness creates understanding. Understanding creates safety. And safety is what finally allows the nervous system to let go. Little by little, your body can learn that it no longer has to survive the present as if it were still trapped in the past.